All right, welcome everybody to episode 3 of the Multi Archives. Very, very exciting. We got a new patch, and we got a big time guest, one that me and Streamline obviously both have wanted since the incarnation. Mirrorman is with us today. Thanks for joining us today, Mirrorman.
No problem, no problem. What's up?
And Streamline, as always, looking dapper. How you doing, Streamline?
Spectacular.
You're spectacular. Wow, feel good today. All right, man, brought out the thesaurus was ready. So, um, all right, let's hop right into it. Talking about the changes from yesterday. There was a lot of them. A lot of things that I thought were good changes, a good direction for the game. I would say. Um, what did you guys? What were your first impressions of the patch? I'll start with you, Mirror Man.
Biggest overall thing outside of like ranked being kind of separate. I'll kind of focus on balance for now. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the 2D hitboxes across the board are just like a great start in terms of like what they add to the game. They give a lot more consistency to moves. There was a lot of like move hitbox resizing that we don't quite know what happened, but we know there's a lot of that across the board to make moves feel more accurate to hit. And I think that's like a big change people have been asking for a good while for the game. That being said, I think there's still 8 characters who haven't got it yet, and some of the characters who got it didn't get it to the extent they should. But for the most part, it's been pretty good.
Definitely agree. Streamline. What were your thoughts?
Um, I think again, strictly balance wise, right? One, the the changes with the hitboxes are good, but some things are like mistyped. For example, I did some research, right? The Superman side special change, right? It seems bad at first, but they removed his entire chest hitbox on his side special in the air, but they made his fist connect better. But like they didn't explain that, so it just seems like the whole entire move is like unbelievably broken. So I think some things aren't actually what they seem, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So like
definitely.
I think the game is like actually like in its most balanced state right now, like extremely balanced right now. It's getting very close to like you can win on any character in the game. It's getting so close. It's getting very close. That's what it feels like.
Hmm. Interesting. I definitely agree in a sense where it feels more balanced than it's ever been. Um, yeah, you can kind of win with a lot of characters. There are just some overtuned things, and I think we need not necessarily more nerfs or buffs, but more changes to make characters' kits overall more useful and make like certain overpowered moves like toned down. Mirror Man, how do you feel about the state of balance? I guess right now in the game.
In terms of balance, the game is definitely the most balanced it's ever been. I think the biggest thing, if you look at like multiverses now compared to multiverses at launch, is characters don't just have like rinse, repeat, 90 damage to infinite combos. I think that's like the biggest individual thing. I'm glad a lot of those are out. Every patch with multiverses always is a bit weird because they'll always like randomly buff some top tier that people don't think need buffed.
Yeah.
Uh, but for the most part, the game's pretty balanced right now. I think you could win a tournament with any character in the game if you play well enough.
Mhm. Yeah, because I would say before this, the worst characters were probably Marvin and Garnet, right? And both of them got pretty solid buffs, I would say. Pretty good for the health of the game overall. I definitely think we all agree that the Superman changes were interesting to say the least. Um, I like the idea though, as you said, where the forward air should like have it more just on his fist as opposed to like his whole chest. And I Harley got a similar change as well, right? With her hammer. So that type of stuff is definitely huge. Getting hitboxes just more consistent. The 2D thing as well, I think, is really interesting. I'm really excited to see when that gets into the rest of the cast. I think overall,
I'm excited for that. So
yeah.
excited for that. I want to see what changes because I've been feeling lately like obviously it's been one day so you don't know for sure, but like, I've been getting a lot more reward out of actually facing thing lately. Patch like I can actually
Hmm.
tell. It feels like I can actually tell where the moves are. Sometimes I like can't tell.
I whiff punished a Velma up tilt yesterday for the first time ever, and I was losing my mind.
Yeah, that's a hype moment for sure. This space being able to space probably and whiff punish, two huge like must haves, and I feel like we're definitely moving in the right direction with that type of stuff.
Honestly. Yeah.
What did you think of the Velma changes, Mirrorman? Since you obviously partnered with Costelix, and I know you definitely thought Velma was what one of the best characters, if not the best character in twos before.
I've never agreed with Costelix's Velma opinions, and right now I think all of the changes they gave her are good and they should stay.
Hmm. Do you think she needs any other changes?
Laser does feel kind of bad now, but I'm okay with it being bad because it being good is toxic. Any other changes? I kind of want to let her sit for the stage she's in because like this is the first patch we've got for Velma, outside of the one where it made her lose her like 0 to 100 loop. Like that's like obviously technically a big change. This is like the first non-infinite loss change where like shit actually I think it affects her in like a meaningful way. Like I think she's actually going to be worse than some other characters now, although I think she'll still be really 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 strong.
Hmm. Yeah, it was always odd that her laser hit like a truck and could hit you from across the map and had like what a 13-second cooldown, like pretty short. Um, so I thought it was definitely funny seeing Coslix's opinions on the laser. I think it's in a good spot. We'll see what kind of use it can get further down the line.
My man's is getting ratioed on Twitter for his opinions.
That was a
Oh,
very funny opinion for sure. Understandably, like everybody has that moment though, right? Where your character gets nerfed day one, you're like, oh my god, I have to change my game plan. I have to play completely different. Like this is crazy. Like you got to make sure you got to revert this. This is insane. And then time settles, and people are like, oh, like I'm still good. I'm still fine. Superman had that too. I think when Superman got like some big nerfs a while back, like that character has been
the
really
grab
good for a long
change.
time. I think.
Dude, the grab change. I remember the posts from the Superman players, bro. The
Hmm.
world was ending.
Oh
The
my
world was
god, my
literally ending.
side B like can be sort of whiff punished and can't combo and like
Oh my god.
They
That
put my
bro,
ice breath on a
yeah.
cooldown, bro.
even
Dude,
Can't
though
believe it.
that shit no, that was I swear to God, that's probably the worst reaction we've seen from multiverses players is the Superman change a while back on the grabs. That was such
yeah.
a bad reaction.
I mean, let's since we're talking about let's just dive into Superman because I think he definitely needs some changes. I would say it's from what he got. Personally, last night I played against a Superman. I think it was Superman Bugs combo, and it felt like
Oh,
a one-player game, or I guess a two-player game for them, and we just had to either avoid rocket, safe, tunnel, or ice breath the entire game. Um, I personally hate ice breath. I mean, they got the ice to beat you perk pretty much out of the game, and I think that was a very healthy change. I think slowing movement to that extent is just not healthy, and the fact that Superman can ice his teammate and then just spam it a lot is I don't know. That's one of many problems I think I have with Superman. What do you guys think of Superman right now?
There's also just the whole problem that slow mechanics in general in multiverses, like anything that applies slow, online especially, the game really doesn't like that, like at all. If you get hit by a slow effect, you just like start jittering. Sometimes you'll try to jump, and it'll eat your jump and teleport you back to the ground. You can get stuck in this. If you're fighting against like a Velma or something, you can get pulled back into a puddle. Against Superman, you try to jump away, you don't get any momentum on your jump anymore, and then he just zero deaths you off of one hit. And that kind of like mechanic is like really frustrating, and it's why I'm glad they've tuned down his ice breath to the extent they have. But at the same time, now this patch they kind of just gave him everything else back that they took away. So it's like, I don't know if I don't know if that was all necessary.
Definitely agree.
yeah. Slowing is menacing for sure. I think one thing though, one thing that is huge in this meta, again, combating slowing, right? You need to have answers, right? So having characters that can cleanse is like big. It's like actually massive this patch. Velma, Wonder Woman, who the hell else? I need to think off the top of my head. Um Garnet? No. Gizmo. Velma, Wonder Woman, Gizmo, I know for sure. Um who else? Don't quote me on LeBron. I'm not sure about that one. I think that's it actually. It might actually be it. Although Stripe is like a weird again, he's broken. Actually broken because he can just switch it on you. You know, you get slowed, you could slow them. You know, so it's not. It's kind of scary, but like those characters are gonna be the key to dealing with Superman.
But what changes would you guys like to see? Because I think we could all agree that he's a bit overtuned right now. More than I would say, even more than a bit. I also just don't think he's healthy for the game. Not only with the ice breath, but the being able to sit on ledge and you can't really contest him. Doesn't seem healthy at all. Like you can't really punish him off stage, or it's next to impossible. You have to get like a really hard read, and the hitboxes on his up special and side special are like I don't know. They're interesting. They're rather big, I would say.
They are pretty big. I agree. I think they're doing a better job with the side special right now, but the up special needs some looking at. Um, but I think for the most part, what they need to do is punish people for putting themselves in disadvantage. As simple as that, right? So if you're off the stage, you should have a lot more limited amount of jumps before you start falling down the way you do when you get wall slid. That's one thing that would immediately change that. Frame one. If you give a player maximum, 12 jumps, maximum 12 jumps off the stage, you jump any more than 12, you have to come up, or otherwise you're screwed. You'll die. You'll just die. You'll have no option.
I think another better way of going about that would just make the wall decay system trigger faster. Right now,
Yeah.
there is a wall decay system in multiverses, but it doesn't decay unless you're off stage for basically like 30 seconds. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it should think it should happen if you touch the wall just more than a couple of times. Is like that's
Yeah.
when the wall decay should start triggering. Then you can actually punish people for just sitting down there, because they'll either have no dodge, they'll have no dodge meter, or they'll start sliding down, which means their jumps up will give them less height to recover. And like it'll just punish people for just hovering off stage the entire game.
I
Yeah,
know with that.
definitely. Because like the amount you have to like really be wall camping to actually even trigger that system at all. And like, there's a second one I believe where you really start sliding, but like you don't ever see that. So I would love a change to that, even if it's not because I think you have to be touching the wall for a certain amount of times. Like even if it's just
Yeah.
being off stage, like not holding on to it, but touching it a certain number of times without like touching the actual stage. They've definitely got to implement something like that because I think it is important to have disadvantage state like feel like a disadvantage state as opposed to with Superman it feels like his advantage state when he's in the corner and off stage and on the wall. It's very odd.
Literally.
Um,
I also want to mention that like I don't think we even know how good Superman is right now because there's some things that we've never seen. So like it's kind of scary because like already been seeing things brewing. Like apparently the down special, like the laser on it, like will combo at like 60 into an upper and kill you if you land it, which is very scary to think about because one, it has armor, and two, it's just an egregious hitbox right now. So it's there's already things showing up, and it's day one. It's only day one. It only gets
yeah.
worse from here, or well, better from here. It only gets better from here. So like I don't know. I want to let it cook in the oven a little bit because it might be even worse than we think.
Then should we let it cook if it's just gonna be awful? Like give it a little bit of time. Like
Because
day one, you're right. We
no,
saw like some crazy combos.
if they don't nerf it enough, then it's gonna be terrifying. You know what I mean? It's gonna be patch after patch dealing with it. You know, but
Hmm.
I think the Superman change overall, right? It's very good for Superman, but it might have been a little too far. That's what I think.
Definitely. I think it was. So we'll see. I already saw some people complaining about it, and even like Nakata obviously talking about fighting Supermans and how it didn't feel healthy for the game, and he definitely said he noticed a lot. So I'm curious to see what changes we get as far as Soups, because I do want him to be like in a good spot. I don't want them to butcher him, but the fact that he's like a tank and the second heaviest character in the game while almost being an assassin and being able to kill you stupid early, like being able to, he just does like everything. He does a little bit of everything and lives for an eternity. So I would love to see a change. So what other characters? I guess we could talk about Marvin as well. Especially since you've been playing him streamline. How have you been feeling about Marvin so far?
So far, right? Again, I don't have that much experience on Marvin yet. You know, I've just been kind of learning how to hit the moves instead of like combos. I'm just using the simple combo right now, but like it feels like Marvin up tilt button and both his armor break moves are like unreal right now. Um, Especially his button because it's literally an anti-air and like right, the meta of this game is basically dodge attacking when you really boil down to it on certain characters, and
Hmm.
that reminds me of Batman and Arya, where you can literally dodge and just attack and a free hit. And when you get that hit on Marvin, it's upwards of 40 damage. If you have a teammate, it's upwards of 100 damage because it just keeps sending them down over and over again. And right now, I think again, right, it's patch one. This could change immediately. I think Marvin is inside of the top 10 somewhere right now for 2v2s.
Wow.
From what I've been seeing. From what I've been
That's
seeing.
that's crazy because I for a long time considered him to be the worst of the worst, honestly. But I also didn't play him much. I won't lie. So that is surprising.
This could change though again. Don't kill me, guys. Don't kill me. This could
Yeah,
change
man. I
very
know
fast.
you've played your fair share of Marvin as well. What do you think about the character right now?
Uh, when I originally saw the patch notes and people were saying Marvin's going to be crazy, I was like, wow, I don't believe you because none of these changes are really significant. And then I saw the chargeable Sayer, which is like a huge, huge boost to his neutral and what he can do in neutral. And then I saw the fact that you can dodge cancel it, which means Sayer confirms into even more types of button confirm combos outside of like the few before he had where it was like low percent only. Now he can get actual stuff going at higher to mid percents. I think he's definitely in a lot better of a spot now. How high he'll be, I don't know. I don't think I've played him enough yet. I've only played him a couple sets, but he's definitely better than he used to be.
Hmm. I just love to see characters like that be in a better spot. Going from like, and also I've always thought like that character was one that needed to cook a bit. He has a high skill ceiling, I would say, compared to a lot of the cast. He's very very unique. So I'm happy to see him finding some more success in the current meta. And I definitely have seen a couple Demon Marvins out there, and I think they'll start making more noise soon. Another character that was on the lower end that got big buffs is Garnet. I think Garnet definitely got some good changes. She's been on the come up for a while, and I fought against some some good Marvin or some good Garnets yesterday that were definitely showing me some stuff with the character. So how do you guys feel about Garnet's place now in the meta as well?
Go for it, Mirrorman. You first.
I played a bit with Obsta type, one of the best Garnets yesterday,
Yep.
and she's definitely just the same character but better. Is a good way of putting it. I don't think she got any new confirms or anything like that off of all the changes they gave her for the most part. But the increase in frame data to a lot of her aerials, her up special, means she can find hits in places where she wouldn't have before. Uh, Clap having extra hits done on it doesn't do much on a singles perspective, but for it makes teammates have a lot easier time following up. And Clap's knockback's already so strong, making that move have easy follow ups for teammates means you can get really early kills off of it if you follow it correctly. Uh, Other than that, yeah, it's just like a not. It just the big frame data changes just makes it easier for her to find hits in neutral and actually get her openings. When a lot
Mhm.
of the time, like, here's the thing about Garnet, right? Is she was a grounded character in a game where aerials are the meta for like 90% of the cast. Uh, Giving her faster aerials means she can actually fight people up there. And while she's still probably worse at fighting people air to air, it actually gives her the option now, which means like people are going to get scared at fighting her in situations, and then she can actually play her grounded game more. It just enables her a lot.
Mhm. She has a lot of good stuff as well to help out her teammates that people are starting to see now that she can actually function. Like her singing is a pretty crazy option that a lot of people didn't realize. I think she had and could do well with.
That's actually what I was gonna add to, because Mirrorman couldn't have said it better with the neutral side of things. It's making her weakness a little less weak, I guess you could say. That's a better way of putting it. Like
Hmm.
she is not so it's not difficult to like approach someone in the air with Garnet as it was last patch. I think though, like on the other side of things, right, for twos specifically, right, singing is starting to show up more. I'm seeing like more of why it's good, right? Because one, I mean, let's like go back in time real quick to when we were in the tournament. We fought Obsta and Ox. Uh, when you sing with Garnet in the Batman smoke, like you get like infinite range, quite literally across the whole map. And I wasn't expecting a Batman to down tilt across the entire map because of Garnet speed boost and smoke boost. So that one shocked me. And then realizing that this was one of the bigger things I didn't know at all. It makes sense now in my head, but like if you get two stacks of Sing, every move you do armor breaks, and it also what's it called it shocks. So that means you get more hits done and more damage. So like it's like consistent speed boost plus damage plus armor break. No other support character can do that for a like like a teammate.
Hmm.
Not that I know of, anyways. No
The
other
only
character.
other speed boosts in the game are Batman, Smoke, and Finn Boots of Speed, right? I think those are the only other ones. I guess there's also Cheese
Yeah.
Buff as well from
Like the
Jerry. I think
initial
that gives a
buff.
speed boost.
Yeah, the
Does it?
initial
I know it's a
initially, not
damage
forever,
boost.
but it is initially. There is a speed
Mm.
boost. Um, Other than that though, like I think Garnet gives like one of the best buffs in the game. So like you can
Yeah.
like form a way to like deal with people. You can get them to approach you because you're singing, and you can make a whole plan off of that alone.
So
I'm
speaking
seeing a lot.
of, sorry, speaking of speed buffs, Finn got some changes that I personally was very happy about, but I think you guys can say that I'm curious to hear your opinions because honestly, it could just be a matchup thing, and I also just am insanely comfortable fighting against Finn. But I think the one of the biggest things that he needed, aside from just some switching around with the hitboxes, a little too much priority, a little too massive. But I thought the biggest thing he needed to hurt him was Gem getting a nerf, and 200 gold is definitely a big change now, as opposed to before it was just toss out Gem without a second thought. Now you have to be a lot more intentional with it, and it can be broken consistently. So that was a huge change. I'm really happy that they did that. But what else do you guys think Finn, I guess, needs?
I think Gem was one of many. I think Gem was one of many things he needed. I'm glad it costs more now because it means that's going to be a lot more spammable. But considering all the changes we got to hitboxes across the board this patch, I was really disappointed that they didn't do anything to touch Finn's. Like, really, really, really disappointed. Both of his side specials happen to hit behind them, so if you try to hit them in from the back when they're active, you just lose because they're disjointed for some reason, even behind
Yeah.
him. Uh, Things like up smash don't have nearly enough whiff lag for the size and speed of the move. Uh, his combo game is crazy for just how many other options he has available to him at all times. But like realistically, what it boils down to is in the patch where hitboxes are getting addressed, the character with the most egregious hitboxes did not get addressed, and that just makes me sad.
Fair. Well, he did already get the 2D change, right? I
Yeah, but
think
the 2D
before.
change they gave to him, they just made his big hitboxes 2D. They didn't give him adjustments. Other characters,
Mm,
they went from 3D to 2D, they also gave adjustments. Finn didn't get those. He just had the conversion.
very true. Very important. That's odd that they wouldn't change that or look into the hitbox and change it when they added. I know he was the first one to get the 2D, so hopefully that will be coming. I'm sure that's one of their priorities is to overall just do a little overhaul on the hitboxes as we're kind of seeing. So that's probably one of the biggest issues. Streamline. What are your thoughts?
To delve a little further into it, right? I think certain moves are a little egregious, and even the longer the game goes on, they can actually get more egregious. Is what I've been learning lately because I've been sparring Gopo a bit, and up tilt with speed boost only becomes more egregious as it reaches further up into the air. So, like, there was a point where he had two times speed boost, and he quite literally went halfway up the map with a single up tilt fully charged. I'm sorry, but I can't dodge that. I can't get out of the way from that one. That's like difficult. But like there's certain moves that just like weren't addressed. Maybe they were forgotten or something, or maybe they're getting to it. Maybe it's harder than we thought it was to fix. But like maybe put it in perspective, like let's say you nerf the up tilt hitbox, but then it makes other moves not string into each other or something like that. Maybe that could be a
Hmm.
problem. Maybe that's why it's taking so long. But like it's it's just too good. It's too good. To put it simply, it's too good, and it's not the only problem. Just certain hitboxes are really crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to do when you have a big sword. But the funniest thing is, like Mirrorman said, the side special on the ground and in the air are like two of the most egregious. Like not even having a sword, but like The ground one blocks all projectiles from everywhere around him, even though it just shows in front. It also hits you from behind, above. Like it's that move is insane. And it combos, like you can dodge cancel and combo. The aerial one is just also absolutely wild. So I think just making the hitboxes make a little more sense and making them even more consistent is definitely huge. And that's one of the biggest things I actually loved about the most recent patch was the fact that that was like a clear. They clearly intended to slowly overhaul the hitboxes throughout the cast. I want to see more 2D. I'm really excited for Rick to get the 2D changes personally, because I feel like one of his biggest problems is his insane hitboxes. Jab, like, does not make any sense, and neither does Sayer, to be honest. So we'll see. Hopefully he gets 2D fixed, and then also some hitbox adjustments, along with some other characters. I know Bugs also, I'm pretty sure, has not gotten that. What do you guys think of Bugs right now? I know in ones he's definitely probably mid tier. He's not that crazy, but in twos I still feel like he's kind of a demon. Thanks for the follow.
Uh, that's like kind of like the thing I give with him, right? Like, okay, I'll start with twos first. I think twos, he's probably, I don't think he's like in like the S tier, but I think he's like in an S minus A plus range. Because here's the thing, right? Bugs, while obviously being really strong in twos, I don't think in good conscience I can say he's as good as characters like Wonder Woman and Stripe. I don't think he's as good as those characters. That being said, the stage control he gives, combined with another zoner, his stuff becomes really annoying to avoid. Combine him with like a boxing character or like a character who does ladders, his rocket and upper set up for really early kills all the time. In twos, he's like clearly one of the strongest characters in the game. In ones, when you can like isolate him out and like you can just like you can kind of choose to avoid bugs in ones a lot of the time because all of his stuff, like all of his projectiles, he has no like fast like throw across the map that you it's like really hard to dodge thing. Like everything he throws out, you can react to. So you can just like play it slow, wait until he's out of cooldowns, and then fight him when like with his boxing game because your boxing game's probably going to be better than his. That being said, he always has like the win condition of, hey, he got you with the down air, now he wins. But as long as you like play to avoid that, you can shut him down pretty easy in ones.
Uh, I guess my opinion on this is more, it's like to boil it down, right? A lot, the feeling I get from characters is like a lot of the times actually some of their moves are faster than bugs. So they like beat you to the punch, essentially, right? So if you ask me, you can take it two ways, right? You take this two ways with bugs. Either you can either make his projectiles more oppressive, right? Make him harder to deal with, or you can buff his moves. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but I feel like what's missing is like, right? Because like, yes, Bugs is broken in twos, but it's because they can't reach him. It's because they
Mm-hmm.
can't reach him. It's not because of Bugs. It's because they can't reach him. If that makes sense, right? It's because of the teammate. Teammate is enabling them. Bugs is enabling the teammate. If that makes sense. But like,
Yeah.
if you try to go in at a high level, right, with Bugs, and you try to play point, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Like you would need, well, ironically, you would need a Velma. You would need a Velma or some sort of character that can support you really well. Otherwise, not. It's really not possible. It's like almost impossible to just play
Mm-hmm.
point, win. Like ironically, like especially because of the way Bugs is, there's like quite a few losing matchups. So if you try to play point into Finn and Arya, all of a sudden your life becomes hell. Like it actually becomes hell. Like to
Mm-hmm.
put it into perspective, like so, like yes, I can see why he's broken, but I can also see why he's not. See why he's
Yeah.
not as well. I've tried recommending things that aren't biased at all. Like, for example, this is the one I wanted to bring up, the Mirrorman. Um, so I wanted to see like a consistent like pattern for what items spawn.
You told me
And
about this
like,
before.
yeah, so like I really want to see that because that enables me to do a lot more setups in like a manner. Like I can form an entire play style off of items alone, right? Like To give you an example, my favorite item is the banana because it interacts with like everything and it can beat everything. It can even beat Finn's side special. To give you an
Doing the
example.
impossible.
Yeah. So, like, but on top of that, um, it will hit the safe as well. So you could like drop a safe where the banana is, it's the safe to you, and you can use it to use them. Like, there's a lot of things you can do, and just knowing what item there is already is huge. It's already huge. It's a huge buff without actually making him crazy. If that makes sense.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, you've definitely been vouching for that for a while, and I think that would be a good change. Just because, I don't know if you necessarily need the RNG there when you could have it in a set order. I don't see how that would be a bad change at all, as opposed to now it's where it is just RNG, right? It's got to be some sort of percentage, right? Because I feel like the Banana Guardian is like the least common.
yeah,
Um,
least common probably. I don't see it. I usually see the pie thing, but the pie thing
The
is
pie
not.
thing, yeah.
That thing is good. That thing is
yeah, the Pie
nice.
Bot
I
always
can't say
always
anything,
comes out.
but
Another character that we definitely gotta talk about is Stripe. He is just an absolute demon right now. And it's funny too because I feel like the only change he's gotten was a slight nerf since he's been out, right? Like he definitely I think one of the past couple patches he got some sort of nerf, but it wasn't much, and still he just feels it's tough.
Here's here's all you need to know about Stripe. He never dropped below top three. He was so top one on launch that it was insane. And then when he dropped from mega top one to like third best, people thought he was mid.
Yeah,
That's my thoughts on the character. Up B makes him fully projectile immune throughout. You can't hit him anywhere. It hits behind him. Uh, every time he hits you within 2 feet of the edge, all it takes is a one dodge read and he kills you. He doesn't even need two because he can auto cover one no matter what with how bullet attacks work because you can true combo bullets into aerials. It means he only actually needs to cover one dodge if he wants to kill you off of an opening. Uh, and just his damage output's crazy. In doubles, Sawblade is probably the best supporting move in the game. It's literally armor. Sawblade, okay, let's no, Sawblade is armor that's on like a couple second cooldown. That if your opponent gets hit by the armor, they take 9%. It's like insane how good Sawblade is as a supporting move. On top of everything else he has, like the zero to death stuff he has, and like just the how simple his kit is. My main thing with Stripe, right, is I think the supporty Stripe can be fine, but he can't be killing people off of one touch with that much damage if he has that good of support. I would like to see like tuning to like either the zero death stuff, how long gun lasts as a debuff, gun dare loops, things like that. But I could also see things like dynamite and like skateboard be brought up a bit because those moves kind of suck, you know?
definitely agree. Um, I was actually gonna ask what you guys think as well should be changed about Stripe to bring him back down to earth and make him a healthy character for the game, which is a hell of a challenge. But if you guys have any ideas, I would love to hear them.
um, for one thing that bugs me a lot about Stripe is the debuff itself, right? So when you get hit by that by like that, what do you even call it? The target? Let's say the target. When you get
Hmm.
hit, right? Blaster is like the most oppressive thing, but being able to like auto lock onto somebody because you hit them with an up special is like the stupidest thing on the.
Yep,
I,
completely
I
agree.
hate that so much, and I know it's annoying because it's scary because like Bugsby's not the last boss. It's Wavy. Wavy's the final boss on Stripe,
And
and
Cray, I
he
gotta shout out Mr. Cray. He is insane with Stripe. We
he
also
is
I can't gotta say like the reason we haven't seen kind of what Stripe is capable of is because there's not that many character reps. Like we could all agree, there's not too many Stripes out there because of I guess almost the hate around playing the character. Like everyone gets insanely frustrated. So sorry, continue.
yeah. So basically, right, when I play against Wavy or play with Wavy, he literally up specials 4 times and then kills, right? And these are players like Light Wisp, Key Wonder, Paradox. Like these aren't bad players. These aren't bad players. They're just getting up specialed 4 times while he's laughing and being like, "Streamline, what do you do?" He literally like, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just shocked that you could just press up special 4 times and end the game without even shooting a bullet yet.
His
Like,
up special does the fin thing where if you try to hit it from behind, you just lose because it's disjointed behind him. It does the fin thing, so you can't even punish it. It's really
literally,
annoying, actually.
it's like, oh, you're trying to punish me? Sorry, you get a target on you. On top of that, if I'm hit by a batarang or a bat bomb, that's yours now. Like, basically, it gets worse and worse as the list goes on. Like, on top of that, Mirrorman was honestly being nice about the saw blade. That's a thorns. That's not even an armor move. It's a thorns move, bro. It's if you come anywhere near me, I could just walk into you and hit you. Like, I could just walk into you and get a kill confirm.
And it does 9. Why does it do 9? That's 1.5
Beats
bug
me.
safes.
It, it beats me, man. Honestly,
Yeah,
beats me.
I
That's a light attack.
I've been saying advocating for stripe changes for a while because I want him to be a healthy character, and I even want to like play him, but I just can't bring myself to play him. And the biggest problem for me right now is the gun, and I just don't think the way it functions right now will ever be healthy for the game. I think they should buff other parts of his kit and make it so the gun has either some sort of way to aim it, like how Gizmo obviously has to aim his arrows, some way to aim it, or even have a set range where it shoots in front of you. I still want you to get usage, but the auto aim is just so egregious. I just don't see how you can leave that in the game. I think if they take away that, he is way like up special, definitely like making the hitbox make more sense. Obviously, definitely improve that. And then if you nerf gun though, you can buff other parts of his kit, like we talked about dynamite and skateboard. Like when do you ever see those moves get any good use at all? I would love to see more of his kit get used as opposed to just Sair, up B, up air, and gun. Like that's the only thing you need to use to have any sort of success with Stripe, and I don't think that's a good like character design, at least right now.
I actually wanted to bring up that a point about that. So basically, the gist of what I want is I want them to one either your route, which is rework Stripe, right, and make his neutral special something else other than that, or like nerf that and buff other good parts about him. Make them make like it's like similar to the Finn situation where like the only thing that's worth in the shop is gem, right? This makes it a little riskier, and there's like other things you could do, especially now like the GoPro slide. I'm sure you heard of that, right? It's a good use and a good reason to buy speed boost, right? But
Mm-hmm.
like if you give like for example, one thing that I never understood, right? Although it could be broken, right? I don't understand why when Stripe gets dynamite, he loses it when you hit him. Is there like some sort of reason?
It's also
Like it
like
was
the
I
weakest
felt like it was
dynamite
always like
ever.
that. I
Like
felt like it
I
was
feel like
always like that.
yeah, I believe it has. It also does like nothing. Like now they made it, I believe, so your teammate can pick it up and throw it. But that like that dynamite compared to like Bugs dynamite is like it's not even like
Two different
half as
worlds.
strong for some reason.
It's it's two different worlds.
Yeah, and also it does like a ton of damage to Stripe himself. I've always thought dynamite was like easily Stripe's coolest move, but sadly it's also one of his worst.
Yep.
So I
The down
definitely would
tilt
like
also
to.
feels unusable. That move sucks.
Another one. You're right. That was another move that I was missing. Down tilt is just terrible. So I would love to see Stripes Kit get a lot more balanced. I think he's one of the weird examples. We talked before about how some of the best characters in the game are just the ones that can use their whole kit. But Stripe is an example of just a couple really, really strong moves that are a problem, and he doesn't need the rest of his kit, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Jake is another example, actually. Thank you, Falsey. Jake is another prime example. I think we should definitely talk about Jake because the changes were good, but I'll be honest, it seemed like they made him now just like a down air machine. If that makes sense. What do you guys think of Jake right now?
I've been hearing something looming around about triple down air being a true combo. And I don't know how true that is. And I'm quite
Wait, like
scared.
the
Down
triple
air,
like
down air, 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 down
Every patch, bro. It's every patch. There's no escape.
On top of that, now Jake can nair at super speed as well. I don't know if people are aware of that one, but I was fighting Rao last night and he was flying across half of the map with a single nair. Just like zooming across the map. Maybe Falze knows what that is. I don't know, but literally zooming across the map with a single nair. So
so
like he lost things, but he also gained things. That's the way I see it. Still a threat.
Definitely.
Reading the Jake Patch notes, this thread, the whole thing read like a wish list of things I wanted to have done to him since launch, and I'm surprised they actually did them. That's my big thing. Is every patch since the launch of the game, Jake gets like one or two minor thing changed that no one really cares about, without like really addressing many of his issues. In this patch, well, they still kept his down airs being really, really strong. They kind of just got like rid of a lot of the other bullshit. Like the up B ladder no longer kills from the bottom of the stage at 0 if they catch DIN once. Uh, House is more punishable now, although I think the biggest problem with the move was the hurt box. That part wasn't changed, although the hitbox was, so maybe it'll be a bit easier to contest. Uh, just like things like that. Things like that.
I agree.
Jake's definitely a
I'm very
tough one.
I'm
I
super so
I agree. I think it was definitely a good change, but I wonder if you can make that character healthy. I would say without a total rework, because I feel like he hasn't been healthy since the start, and just the way he plays, it's just a lot of spamming down air and then stretchy punch. It seems. With some other ladders thrown in there, but I'm curious if there's any way they could change him without like totally reworking his kit. Um, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
yeah, I brought this up last time, but I'll bring it up again, right? They removed the hitbox on Jake's arm. They could have also just made it so that they can't turn. They don't get as much freedom. Jake's side air aiming it, right? If you just made it like a
Mm-hmm.
smaller cone instead of like 180 degrees, that would make it slightly less egregious. That was my thought. That would at least make it less oppressive, for sure. Having a way to
Mm-hmm.
move around.
I still think
Mirrorman,
his
what are your thoughts?
I still think his forward air aimed straight down shouldn't be the strongest down air in the game. That shit kills off stage at literally any percent. Like any percent. Maybe 10. I'll give it 10%. By ledge, if you get hit by a down air aimed down, your forward air aimed down, you're just dead. You're just dead. It makes just like edge guarding like super oppressive and just super degenerate to fight because you have to either play the dodge mini game of guessing when he's going to let go of forward air because it's a charge move, or you have to get past down air, which is like a move that's active for an entire lifespan. Honestly, it never ends, so it's really hard to get past him when you have to recover, and that makes it like fighting him off stage a bit bad. But with all the other changes, that might be fine. Maybe I don't know. I haven't fought against him enough yet.
It's gonna be worse this patch because of the dodge change.
You're right. You can't. Well, it means you can't dodge jump. It means you can't dodge jump. You still can just time the dodge. And now, if you dodge through the fist into the arm won't hit you because they got rid of
Maybe
the
that's
hitbox in
why
the
they
arm itself.
honestly. Now that I think about it.
But
What was
still,
that?
it's a little bit hard.
Maybe that's why they changed the slider, I guess. Because like maybe if they kept the dodge change, right? I don't think you'd be able to dodge through it normally.
Nope.
Maybe. So like maybe that's why they did that. Thinking back, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I think it's just the same. I
Jake's
do like the fact that
definitely.
they made the dodge change though. I really like that.
Yeah,
'Cause I feel like
I
there was
definitely
always
agree.
an answer to like get back to stage control by just going above them. But now you can contest it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Overall, that and the dodge meter showing, I think were two really healthy changes for the game. I would just love to even see on top of dodge meter, um, cooldowns underneath. I think would be a massive change, and I think that would be really great for the health of the game, especially online. I think that would be really awesome because it's so frustrating playing around characters cooldowns online when you don't know them. You have to almost have a counter in your head. Do you guys think that they should implement that online as well?
I'll let you go first.
Yes. I have nothing else to say to that. Yes, they got the dodge meter, which is good. I think we should be able to see cooldowns as well. I want to know when Bugs has his rocket. I want to know when Rick's lasers will actually have hit stun or when he's just charging them to bullshit you. Uh, I want to know when Velma has like 50 bubbles. I want to know when Batman has battering. There's so many things that like if you could see cooldowns, it really changes how you can fight them in neutral. But right now, it's kind of just like a guessing game.
Yeah, agreed.
I want to know when bolts comes, bro. That one's the biggest one for me. I have to like count
Yes.
like instead of having to count to like 25, I would rather be thinking about what my opponent's doing.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Straight
And
up.
even like with bugs too. Like when I was playing last night against so many bugs, it's like he would be Chris would be like, I think rockets up, and then like it would come out right away and be like, okay. It'd be so much easier just to be able to see it underneath. And I just think that add like more skill kind of to the game, being able to see that and just know that. Definitely a
Makes it
good
more man
change. Mm-hmm.
it makes it more manageable. It's like I think it's very necessary.
Yeah, yeah. Even like like you said, Morty and Rain Dog tether, like massive. Being able to know when they have it, when they don't, like Rick off stage, like knowing whether he has portal or doesn't. Even like I would love to like offline where you can see where he's teleporting to. I wouldn't mind that at all online. I think that would be a good change. I just want to get online and offline to similar spots because if you're gonna have tournaments online and offline, shouldn't they mirror each other in those extents? That only makes sense, right?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I'm actually very happy about one thing you were bringing out offline and online. Me and Paradox tried the keyboard change. It is good. It is very good. Very good. No side controllers needed. You can do keyboard into keyboard even. It is perfect. Unbelievably perfect. It's beautiful.
It is awesome to hear.
It's actually really
Definitely
good.
Definitely a great direction. I think the last thing we definitely have to cover as well that we haven't talked about yet is ranked being added in this patch. Very exciting. Finally out. Definitely good to have a map pool. One of the maps in there kind of stands out from the others. I will say though, the throne room being in there is interesting. I'll say. I know Bugsy has fought for it, but it seems like everyone else doesn't want it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What do you guys think about Throne Room? Should that be in the stage list?
Burn Room sucks. Like it's like bad, bad. Like it's not really excusable for it to be in. Like if the walls are gone, it's basically just like a smaller sky flat, but like with big blast zones, which is like maybe a legalish stage. Uh, but when the walls are up, it's just horrible. It just gives characters a bunch of free infinites. The amount of times you get hit on Throne Room and doubles, and it just confirms into an 80 damage combo because you bounced off the wall one time is crazy. In singles, those infinites are still there, but you also have people just like climbing to the top of the blast zone. If you ever play singles against a Shaggy, you'll see them climb the wall and just start charging in the upper blast zone. You'll see Superman's flying from side to side and just fishing for laser cooldown. Like it's like when those walls are up, it's like horrible. And like, yeah, the walls go down eventually, right? But you still got to deal with that minute of hell at the start of every single match, and it's just like, just get, I don't know, just it's not good. It's
Yeah.
It's
Definitely
not
agree. It's funny too. Like even when the walls go down, it's just like the tiniest little like stage ever with like no room to move. No, it's just you're just stuck in there, and it's definitely an odd stage. I love the design too. Like I think it's great for casual. Honestly, I think it's actually really good for casual, just with the visuals, with the music and everything. But like when it comes to ranked, I think I'm glad that it seems like everyone can agree. Though it's funny that they still left it in, but I think if the community makes it apparent that throne room should not be it, I think we could definitely agree on that.
I
Outs.
didn't even mention stuff like LeBron ball or Tom's tennis balls that just bounce back and forth infinitely. Like they
Oh
never
my
stop.
god.
It's just permanently active. It's like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
a little
I don't know.
goofy. Seem a little goofy. I've already seen some crazy Twitter clips. I think last one I remember is Troco, right? Batman had this guy dead to rights, right? The map has no walls up. And then guess what? Guess what happens at the last second when he down airs him off the stage? Bloop! Right back
Oh,
up. And guess what
definitely.
happens later? Down airs him right after it. The platform's still going down and he dies. He dies instead. Batman dies instead. Not Finn. Batman dies. Like it's
Yeah.
casual
Uh,
map, not competitive.
so
Not
outside of
competitive.
throne room, do you guys like how ranked is now? Do you think there needs to be any changes implemented? Do you think things are fine the way they are? Mayor, what are your thoughts? I know you played a ton of ranked yesterday.
Couple individual issues. Queue times are still weird for certain people. You can be queuing for like 2 minutes just to queue into the people you just played against. Like if you're gonna queue me against the same people, let's put me against them right away. Otherwise, like give me new people, please. Even then, sometimes you could just be stuck in long queues, even though other new people are queuing, and it's just like you won't find a match for some reason or another. There's also just the whole MMR is weird right now. Uh, I think there's a bug in doubles with MMR where if you queue someone who isn't like directly the same ranked as you, you get way more MMR than normal. When I was playing with Costelix, who I'd been playing with the entire time, I was getting like 8 to 18 MMR a game. I switched to Oops as my teammate, who was only like 3 ranks below me. And I started getting 40 MMR a game, beating like teams that weren't nearly as high ranked either. Just beating like the super low ranked teams. And that's got to get fixed. I think Q times is the biggest one because having bad Q times will make people just not play ranked. And
Hmm.
then after that, they got to fix MMR to actually work appropriately.
Yeah, streamline.
I'd say everything that Mirrorman said because I didn't get to play too much, but my biggest issue was that I couldn't finish sets because I kept disconnecting. Um, Again, I always push for no negative things, but it has to be said at least once every patch, right? A little rough start for the servers this patch. A little rough. Not gonna lie, it's pretty rough.
I heard
But
twos was way worse than ones for a lot of people, but it's also inconsistent. Because Costelix I played with for like 4 hours, and he said he only had one laggy game the entire time. Servers yesterday were the worst for me in probably 2 months. Straight up. Like, it was unplayably bad a lot of the time.
horrible. It was horrible. It was really bad.
It
I'm
is
being nice.
odd.
It was really bad.
It is odd the inconsistency across the board. Because I will say I started and had like 2 sets, crisp, totally fine, and then jittery all over the place, like practically unplayable for like solid 30 minutes, and then right back to like crisp and totally perfect.
I had my
So,
first red bar game for the first time in like actually 2 months. Usually I always two bar if it's bad. I had
mhm.
actually a red bar game yesterday. I never have red bar games. And it was against people I've green barred against before. I really just don't know what's up.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very scary yesterday, but I'm hoping it'll get better. I'm hoping it'll get better.
Yeah, I
'Cause
know they keep saying that their changes are coming. I would love to get some sort of notice of when, if they have any months span that it might be happening. I don't know. I really am hoping for that because I do think the biggest thing with the patch is people not being able to even enjoy the positive changes because of the servers. That's a really frustrating issues even when player first is like making the right changes as far as hitboxes and balance changes, but then it just gets all overshadowed by what the servers are right now.
I need to cover something right now because I was informed by Lightwisp that Steven is the best character in the game.
Yep. Uh,
So right now there is a I don't want to call it a glitch because apparently it was intended, but you can get people into ground bounce combos up to like 130.
do you know the reason why? Do you know the reason why?
I'm not quite sure.
Okay, so I can tell you the reason why. Uh, so in previous patches, the way Steven's shield works is if someone wall bounced or ground bounced against them 3 times, they would despawn. They gave shield infinite bounces,
Mm.
and what would be limited at 70 to 80% off of 3 bounces can now go infinitely, and you can just get permanently trapped under shields because of it. It was an intended change, but I really hope they revert it. It's really dumb. It's like really dumb.
Actually came armed with information as well, just in case anyone would like to see what that looks like. Because there's a scary part where I wasn't even mentioning the shields, actually. So there's something very scary with ground bounces if you open up that tweet. Um,
You sent
my
it in
name,
chat.
my one of my good friends, yeah, I sent it in Discord. Ended up doing,
Pull it up real quick.
and he like got stuck ground bouncing like downwards into the ground, like literally. You see that?
Hold Hold on, this looks.
I don't know if he's
Oh, I
bouncing up.
did actually see exactly what you're
Yeah,
talking about
I don't
there.
know if he's actually bouncing into the shield so fast that you can't see it, but like he's like it looks like he's stuck into the ground.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
this was.
it was telling me that like with this bug, Steven's the best character in the game.
I mean, it's a bug, but I guess you're right.
I
Where,
think,
yeah,
I
if
mean,
you pull up
it's
like
not a
item.
bug technically, right? It's not a bug technically because she like even if he like didn't bounce off the ground, right? he would bounce into shield forever regardless. So
He
like
somehow
that's one
lived
thing.
after all that, though. He somehow didn't die
Well,
at the end of it.
because it decayed. Because it literally decayed. That's the scary part.
hmm
Like
Also,
Steven is regardless of that is very scary right now. We did not go over Steven.
no,
We
true.
did
We
not
could
go over
definitely
Steven.
talk about that. I mean, honestly, I didn't really see many Stevens or even play with many Stevens. So if you guys want to talk about what the, I mean, he got the shield changes, right? They changed it so it's all physical attacks and GoPro really coming in here with Buffin. All right, get out of here. Yeah. So what do you guys? You guys both think he's literally one of the best characters in the game right now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
Um
absolutely.
on top of that, a worry for you actually. You can polymorph his shield and make it the size of Iron Giant.
Wait, it
So
could get that big?
yes.
Yeah, that's they mentioned that in the patch notes. Is that Rick Steven now the shields are bigger?
The scary part is it also does it to the enemy shield. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so you need to watch out for that because if you make his thing bigger, you are liable to take 130 damage every single time.
Huh.
According to
Damn,
Lightwith,
GG.
this isn't even me saying this. This is Lightwith informing me
Yeah,
that it is very bad. It is very bad. They need
Might
to
get
revert that.
Sandstorm finally off the Wonder Woman for doubles. Might get him on his Rick.
I hope so. Yeah, I really hope
Massive
so.
shield too. Oh my gosh.
Been
Oh,
waiting for that for a while. What do you guys think then they should do to Steven to make him more? I mean, you said right, Mirrorman, you want that change reverted where it shouldn't be infinite bounces. That
should not.
is kind of
It
absurd.
should
Yeah,
not. It
yeah.
should not.
That change definitely just needs to not be in the game. Other than that, I think Steven's like a high to top tier character in both formats. I think Rosebomb up B shenanigans are dumb. Uh, I think his neutral dodge shouldn't have iframes and it should just be the bubble. I think the bubble's already strong enough. He doesn't need iframes also. Uh, and beyond that, while his combo game is really good, I think it has like enough counterplay to avoid it, and it's telegraphed enough with Shield Surfer dares to where like there's like pretty measurable counterplay to actually stuffing out Steven in neutral. And despite how good he is, I don't really have too many problems with him.
hmm I
I
would
was gonna
agree.
state something else actually. So Lightwith told me
Oh, one more thing.
as of this patch, like I don't quite know the situation, but up special can be comboed off of true now as well, apparently. Just informing. I don't know how, but he can get true combos out of up special now. So just know that.
Also, I think his Nair armor should be on a cooldown. I don't think he should be able to spam Nair armor on teammates. I think it should be like a once every couple seconds kind of thing. And I think being able to just Nair on your teammate for an entire game and do nothing else should not be a viable strategy.
Speaking of, the last character I wanted to touch on is Wonder Woman. Um, I think in a lot of ways Wonder Woman's a healthy top tier, but I still do think she's a bit overtuned. I would love to see her get just some time. She definitely I think needs the 2D, right? She's still one of the ones with 3D hitboxes, but um I aside from that, I think that would definitely help. But aside from that, she can give armor in so many different ways. It's kind of insane. I would love to see maybe the fact when her what I believe her down smash, her side special, her up special all give armor to teammate. I believe. Um, aside from that, I think she's pretty honest. I would like personally. I think the fact that her signature perk, not the Whip of Hephaestus, but the dodge perk, dodges and gets rid of all projectiles, and it has like maybe a 7 second cooldown. I would love to see that change. But what do you guys think of Wonder Woman? Do you think she's fine the way she is and just a healthy top tier, or does she need some changes?
I don't think. Okay, I'll tell you right now. To me, if you ask me, Wonder Woman feels like there's no such thing as healthy broken to me. There's no such thing as healthy broken to me anymore. It's it's broken. It's simply broken. Um, I'd say one thing she needs is to like remember the patch where Wonder Woman couldn't string up special into anything, right? Make that a thing on whiff. She needs more whiff. This is not enough. This is not enough. Like like how I explain it? I felt the change on the up special, but that's not enough. It's not enough at all. Like like, I mean, shoot, none of you guys made Wonder Woman, so you know what it's like to walk up to a Wonder Woman and get up specialed immediately because you can't do anything about it. Like, that is not honest to me in the slightest. Like, in the slightest, it's not honest. And it only gets easier this patch. So, like, it makes you wonder, right? Like, how honest could this character really be considering what she can do to you and what you can't do to her? Like, it's daunting trying to approach a Wonder Woman. It's very daunting.
Yeah, she also is super super fast and pretty heavy. What do you think, Mirrorman, of Wonder Woman right now?
Second best character in the game in doubles.
For
Broken as
sure.
heck, does everything too good. But that being said, she doesn't have anything too overly degenerate in her design. Similar to Steven Nair, I want her armor moves that besides her obvious one. I want like her other specials and down tilt to have cooldowns applied to them, or like a universal cooldown on how fast she can apply armor to her teammates. Uh, I think she just needs more whiff lag across the board, and she needs some tuning to either her weight or her speed to make her less oppressive. Other than that, she's mostly fine. I also think extended lasso bug shouldn't be a thing, where if Wonder Woman dodges back and the edge on her lasso, it just makes it longer. Uh, that probably shouldn't be a thing. I think her down air being like frame one is also kind of dumb, but it might be okay if the other stuff gets tuned. But that's like the main stuff. That's the main stuff.
I hate that Wonder Woman down there. I hate that move. It's so long, that big sword, and it. Oh, that move is definitely crazy. Coming out as fast as it does, killing, being as big. It's is a definitely one of her best moves. So, um, anything else you guys want to cover as far as the most recent patch, or just for this third episode of the Multi Archives? Mirrorman, anything else you want to touch on?
I want to say that the Valentine skins are all epic. I love all of them. Especially, I think the Wonder Woman's my favorite, then the Marvin one, but they're all really good.
100% agree. Actually, great. 100% agree. I bought the Batman one. That ew, they look fire. I only wish we would have gotten more, to be honest. I and a Cupid Gizmo skin. Oh, why I could have gotten a Cupid Gizmo skin. That would have been incredible. Streamline.
Um, One thing, if you put on team colors while you have this skin on and you put on like the right outline, it is crazy good. It's actually crazy good. Like, if you get blue Harley while all her stuff is glowing and you have blue on, like it's top. It's top. It's actually insane.
I will say default enemy colors are red in multiverses, and if your opponent is using a Valentine skin, uh, the animation on it really just makes them look like they're armored like the entire time, and it's like visually off-putting. I keep thinking people are armored, and I try to avoid them because of it.
Actually scary. You're not wrong. Oh,
Definitely W
okay.
skins.
Wonder Woman has an armor bug offline. Wonder Woman has an armor bug offline where she consistently just has armor over her, so you can't tell if she does or doesn't.
That's been a thing forever. That was a thing at LTC with Steven Wonder Woman. If you know,
Yeah,
watch
period.
Grand Finals of that.
They need to get rid of that period. Needs to go. Needs to go. Please look into that. That one
Hmm.
is bad. I hate it.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, uh, let's see. Thinking. Oh, I don't know. Like, School Me Once became a little worse. Like perks in general, perks, right? Like,
Hmm.
I don't know if Snowball Effect is viable or not. It probably could be. School Me Once, not like lighter projectiles, not proccing School Me Once is so good for me. Specifically, an example, like I could think of various times where I've lost sets because of School Me Once proccing after I pied someone, and then it just deletes my rocket. That's not a thing anymore. So certain situations like that, you can
I
trap people.
don't think that's what the School Me Once changes. I think I'm actually going to correct you here. I'm pretty sure the School Me Once change is meant to make things like Rick Laser and Velma Ally Laser not proc the perk and make it active. I don't think. I think Pi is a medium projectile, so it still procs School Me Once.
That is scary. What
I
that
think.
is.
I think. Okay, so I think that School Me Once change was that they made. If you reading it, it says light projectiles will no longer proc School Me Once, even if the light projectile deals knockback. I think that was mostly a fix for a Velma laser bug that happened in the last patch, where if Velma lasered her ally and then that ally laser shot your enemy, it would instantly proc Skull Main once. I think that was meant to be a fix for that, and a fix for like Rick Light Laser and like Morty Light Laser as like things that would proc Skull Main once. Now those don't. Most everything else I think stays the exact same.
That's actually good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even test it yet, so I was like assuming.
I've had plenty of rockets eaten this patch already from Skull Main once. Don't worry.
Dude, I barely even got to play today, dude. Oh,
Honestly, I thought about diving into perks, but I feel like that'd be a whole hole to dive in. So we'll save that for a future episode because that is definitely something that I would love to talk about further down the line. I think we would love to see some perk changes instead of nerfs, preferably buffs. Is my short opinion on it. But either way, I thought this was a great episode. Mirrorman, thank you so much for joining us on episode 3 of the podcast. Really appreciate you coming through, and hope you had a good time. Chat, I hope you guys all enjoyed. This will be uploaded to YouTube as soon as I hop off. So thank you very much, and have a good one, guys. Peace out.
Peace. Thanks for having me.
Of course.